and the Masters of the Universe. I am Adam, Prince of Eternia and defender of the secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Cringer, my fearless friend. Fabulous secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, "By the power of Grayskull!" Cringer became the mighty Battle Cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Only 3 others share this secret. Our friends, the Sorceress, Man-at-Arms, and Orko. Together we defend Castle Grayskull from the evil forces of Skeletor.
Nothing will stand in the way of my ruling Eternia. I'm ruling over Castle Grayskull at last.
Wrong again, Skeletor.
Hello, this is OptimusSolo, and welcome to the 15th chapter in Tales of Eternia. With me for this journey into the Masters of the Universe franchise, as always, is TFG1Mike.
Hello.
Are you ready for Powers of Grayskull, sir?
Yeah, I am, but before we get into that, oh my god, I have to tell you, you have to go to your comic shop and pick up the new ongoing from DC, because that first issue of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe #1 that just came out last month, or earlier this month, was free. It basically turns the universe of Masters that we know on its friggin' head. It was a great, amazing read, and you'll hear more about that in the pullback in a future episode. But yeah, back to the cartoon.
Alright, well in this episode of Tales of Eternia, we'll be giving you our thoughts on episode 43, The Royal Cousin, episode 44, Return of Evil, and episode 45, Eye of the Beholder. So we hope you're ready, because it's time to go back to Eternia.
So you took the globe away from them, hmm?
Yes, it's safely hidden away in Castle Grayskull.
Nice work, lad.
Don't tell me. Tell He-Man.
I am telling He-Man. Come in.
Adam, your father's been looking everywhere for you. Where have you been?
Well, I was just out on some royal business.
As in monkey business? Well, you better report to your father. He has a little surprise for you.
Adam, this is your cousin, Jeremy.
Wow, the last time I saw you, you were just a baby.
Big deal.
Jeremy will be visiting us. I want you to take charge of him while he's here, Adam.
But, Father, my royal duties...
They will have to wait. Now, show Jeremy a good time. You are certainly qualified in that department.
Oh, all right. Let's go, cousin.
Don't call me cousin.
Sorry.
Alright, we start today with episode 43, The Royal Cousin, which was written by Robbie London, who has done a number of episodes that we have talked about: A Beastly Sideshow, Double-Edged Sword, Dawn of Dragoon, Disappearing Act, and Diamond Ray of Disappearance.
Hey, at least this episode title didn't have a D in it.
Exactly. It has an air date of Wednesday, November 2nd, 1983. And the plot goes something like this. When Jeremy, Prince Adam's spoiled and unfriendly young cousin, arrives at the royal palace, things become a lot more difficult for those in residence. Jeremy's ideas of fun cause a lot of trouble, with He-Man having to appear in order to save the day. Meanwhile, Evil Lyn and Triclops are trying to appease Skeletor and discover that Jeremy could be the instrument to their success. Evil Lyn manipulates the young boy into obtaining Man-at-Arms' rock softener, and with it the deadly duo attack Castle Grayskull, weakening the walls, and then unleash the mysterious Growth Globe. Bad guys, we have Skeletor, Evil Lyn, and Triclops. Masters, we have the Regs, plus an appearance by Ram Man. And the PSA here is Orko and He-Man talking about don't seek out and look for attention, kind of something around those lines.
Basically, don't be an attention whore, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
That's basically what they said.
Your thoughts on the plot, sir?
Oh my god. I'd rather deal with Ed Weiner than deal with this asshat. Oh my god. I wanted to just punch that kid right in the face. Oh my god. Just, like, when you said a couple of, about 3 or 4 or 5 episodes ago that we were going to have a return of a royal cousin, I actually thought this episode was Edwina, whatever the hell her name is. I thought that was her coming back. I would have preferred her coming back over this little shit. Oh my god.
Yeah, he was not the most fun character to experience.
Oh my god. Who was doing the voice for him? It had to have been
Linda Gary.
Or
Erica Scheimer. I don't remember.
Yeah. No offense to the, you know.
I think it might have been Erica Scheimer.
Even if it was Linda Gary, may she rest in peace. No offense to the voice actors, but some of these... There are certain women that can pull off a male voice. Tara Strong can pull off several different male voices, you know?
Right.
And some of these people back in the 80s apparently couldn't, because I don't know.
There were times it sounded like a boy and times it sounded like a girl.
Yeah.
But anyways, the plot about the whole rock softener that Man-at-Arms invents, and then Evelyn and Triclops trying to get a hold of it, and softening the walls of Grayskull. How'd you feel about all that?
I thought that was ingenious, that they're turning, his own invention against the heroes.
Mm-hmm.
But first of all, like, okay, I know why he invented it. Oh, for soil, for produce, for farming. I get that they have to make their own, grow their own, you can't just go to a corner store on Eternia, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have those. But it's one of those things where I get why he wanted to do it, but did they not think ahead and plan ahead? Oh, could Skeletor use this for something?
Right.
Oh, because the right setting, the right setting on the machine,
mm-hmm.
The right setting, the right power, boom, obviously what happened? You're pretty much almost into Grayskull.
Right.
I liked it. I thought it was interesting. I just didn't like the B plot with
the little kid.
Jackass. Yeah.
I do like that Evelyn used the kid to her advantage and kind of manipulated the young kid and whatnot and taught him a lesson in the process, I guess. He was annoying, though, and yeah. I don't know, the whole rock stopper thing was okay. But we'll get more into that, I guess, later. Any thoughts on the whole PSA?
Kids are going to want attention no matter who it is. They're going to want attention from their parents. They're going to want attention from their grandparents. So, I just think that the character was written bad. Not necessarily written, but it's a bad character in general for Jeremy. Like, I think I'm trying to think here what I'm trying to remember what I wrote for what people will read in the description of the podcast. Here it is. This week we find ourselves at the mercy of yet another one of Adam's annoying family members in the Royal Cousin. This, just like you would think, and I mentioned this before about other plot points in past episodes, you would think that, like, take Teela, for example, and I'm not singling her out because I don't like Teela. I'm singling her out because this happened to her in Like Father, Like Daughter, when she's not listening to Man-at-Arms. Mm-hmm. The same thing happens here with Jeremy. He's not listening to Adam. He's not listening to people. And I swear, I thought Man-at-Arms was just going to haul off and backhand him a couple of times.
Yeah, they were definitely letting him have it a few times, which was nice to see.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get to Castle Grayskull before the walls fall down.
Oh, I forgot, all right. I'll have to leave Jeremy with someone else for a while. The question is, who's going to be the lucky babysitter?
Sure, Prince Adam. I'll look after him.
Jeremy, stay with Ram Man for a while, and don't play in any of those vehicles. They're dangerous.
Yeah, sure.
Don't worry. I got away with youngsters.
Bullseye! Do it again!
Oh, come on, not again! Enough is enough!
Do it again or I'll tell the king you were mean to me!
Oh, my aching head.
Alright, so we're here at a very unstable Castle Grayskull, trying to find some highlights before we have to get out of here. I only have a few here. I like the reference at the beginning to He-Man doing something prior to when the episode started. Right. I always like that they kind of reference stuff that makes it feel like it's an ongoing world, that it doesn't just exist during the episodes.
Right.
I thought Ram Man was funny in this,
yeah,
as usual. But he was definitely funny when he was having to deal with Jeremy. And I don't know if I super liked this or not, but I guess I thought it was kind of amusing that all of a sudden Triclops has all these different names for his different vision. He has Distavision and Amavision and these different vision powers.
Well, he has multiple eyes, and it hasn't been said before in this, and I think that's what Robbie was going for when he wrote it, was that setting up the fact that he has the different. I mean, it's been shown before that his eyes do different things, but it hasn't actually, like, the powers haven't had a name before today, I think. So
I just thought that was interesting. What do you got for highlights here?
Yay, Triclops! This will be in the episode post, but Battle Punch Atom. Because it's a very interesting invention that Duncan comes up with, and then Adam can't. Before they use the invention, obviously, he keeps whacking it with the hammer, and it no go. But I like the reason why I wrote that note down is because I like the fact that it always, even to this point, we're at episode 45,
getting there,
43, 45. You know, we're nearly halfway, or we're close to 3/4 of the way being done with season 1. It always pisses me off to this point when Adam can't do anything. Adam can't save Orko. We must call He-Man. And I'm glad that Adam was testing out the rock thing. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Again, Evelyn's going against Skeletor. What's interesting is that she is willing to go against Skeletor, as we've seen in the past, but at first Triclops is not. He doesn't want any part of it. And then, wait, I take that back. Triclops is agreeing to go along with Evelyn's plot. Yeah. Triclops is going along with Evelyn's plot. Dun, dun, dun. Rimshot. Nah. And then, of course, the punt into outer space.
It was definitely interesting.
It just goes to show you that He-Man can not only throw staffs into outer space, he can punt orbs into outer space. But that's all I got. We got to get out of here before this damn castle falls on top of us.
Exactly. On to Snake Mountain.
We'll be going home tomorrow, Jeremy. Have you enjoyed your stay?
It's been all right.
Your Majesty, Adam, the rock softener, someone's taken it.
That device was for the good of everybody. Who would have taken it?
I can't imagine. Unless... What's the hardest substance on the planet?
The walls of Grayskull.
I don't get it. Why is everyone so upset?
Skeletor's warriors could use the rock softener to enter Castle Grayskull.
If that happened, all of Eternia would fall to the forces of evil.
All right, so we have arrived for our own safety at Snake Mountain, where the walls are stable, which means we will have plenty of time to search around for some lowlights. Let me begin. First lowlight, we kind of already mentioned it, but that was horrible voice work on Jeremy.
Yes.
That was the first thing I wrote down. I thought it was kind of extreme here when they're talking to Jeremy. I don't remember exactly which character was saying this, but they basically go to him and they're like, how would you feel if something you did hurt someone or even killed them? I was like,
that was Man-at-Arms.
I was like, good Lord. Like, not just scaring them like, hey, you could hurt somebody, but no, you could freaking kill somebody, apparently. I just thought that was an interesting choice to instill fear into the kid by making him think of actually killing somebody. The pacing of the speaking patterns in this episode is off.
Oh, yeah.
It's especially noticeable with King Randor and Triclops, but they are not speaking in a normal cadence.
Not at all.
I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if that's an editing thing. I don't know if it's how it was recorded. I assume it's not how they actually spoke those lines, but there's just random pauses between words, and it's just weird to listen to. So that was a low light for this episode. Oh, sorceress, once again, it's too powerful for my magic.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
No, it's just, we should have been keeping a tally of how many times something is too powerful for her magic.
Yes.
Because it happens almost every other episode she's in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we have this boomerang. that latches onto metallic items.
Yes.
All right. Why didn't it latch on to Triclops?
Or why didn't it latch on to He-Man's sword? Or why didn't it latch on to Ram Man automatically? Because Ram Man's made out of metal. His arm
only will attach to things you want it to attach to.
Apparently so.
It's got a special sensor. It knows what you're thinking.
Yeah, because the tech on Eternia is that very highly done.
Yeah. Okay, so we have this rock softener. We have this thing that has the power to soften rock.
Yes.
Rock is a pretty hard substance.
As evidenced by Adam trying to hit it with a hammer.
Right. Okay. Why didn't the ray of the rock softener kill He-Man?
Oh, I know it.
He is made of skin, muscle, flesh, and bones. If something has the power to soften entire cliffs, his bones should have been mush.
Yeah.
That was a bad idea to write him into the story as getting hit by that ray.
Yeah.
And not having any side effects from it.
Well, it did have a side effect. It had the side effect of basically slow motioning him to the point where he was stuck in place. It basically glued him to the ground instead of softened him.
Yeah.
So instead of a rock softener, it's a superhuman glue gun.
Exactly. A little inconsistency there with the rock softener.
Yeah.
Quick question. Why do devices in these stories always have a reverse button?
I know it.
It's
kind of like
it's the easiest plot device, and at the same time one of the most lame. That every time we're going to use some type of a device, some type of gadget or whatever, the way we're going to get out of the episode is we're just going to hit the reverse button.
Yeah, no, I agree, but it's kind of like nowadays when you have cartoons writing these days where, like, take Phineas and Ferb. The whole point of Agent P stopping Dr. Doofenshmirtz is that Doofenshmirtz always puts a self-destruct button on his innators, on his evil inventions. So it's the same thing here, even though over in Phineas and Ferb it's funnier and, it's whatever. But here it's just annoying. It's like, seriously, you're really going to put a reverse switch on that? Really?
Every single thing is going to have a reverse switch.
Yep.
And then finally, just another editing error here, or whatever you want to call it. But why is Tila laughing when she's not even in the scene? The end scene, she is not nowhere. She's not even in that group. She's not been pictured there at all, but she is sure laughing with everybody else.
Maybe she was off camera. Maybe she's a jelly stain in the picture. I don't know.
What else have you found here as we camp out in Snake Mountain?
Oh my god. Adam, and of course I said this a second ago, but up in Castle Grayskull, but Adam has some damn dumb, ignorant, rude-ass family members. I wonder if Jeremy is the brother of Edwiner.
Might be.
Might be. This Jeremy kid needs to be whacked with a wooden spoon.
Bad memories.
Same old woman disguised as before. Come on, Evil Lynn. It's the same animation. She just has different clothes on, but it's the same old woman design.
She doesn't need to use anything else.
Yeah, I know.
It works so well. She should have been the witch on Snow White. Anyway.
Yeah. What? No Cringer this episode? Boo.
I didn't
Automatic
even
points taken off for not even having Cringer or Battlecat anywhere in this episode. Everything is too powerful for your magic. Yeah, we had the same thing there. How the fuck does Jeremy know where Grayskull is? It's been ages since he was on Eternia. Ugh. Like, seriously, they say that, like, Randor says that in the very beginning of the episode, it's been ages or years or however long. How the fuck does this kid know where the castle is?
And he's a kid, so if it has been a long time, then when he was there last time, he would have been really small.
He wouldn't have, yeah, exactly. And I just find it completely horrid that, and convenient for the plot that Man-at-Arms, he just so happened to have the Porter Prison with him. Bullshit. That's just utter bullshit. I don't know. This episode is slowly moving from one ranking to another as I talk it through.
I was just thinking the same thing almost. All right, let's see what kind of rankings and awards we have for the Royal Cousin. Well, probably none for him, but...
Now, this is serious. Tell us what you know right now.
I took the rock softener. A woman asked me to.
A woman? You can bet it was Evil Lynn.
She said it was a joke. She bought me a boomerang.
You've made a grave mistake, young man. Man-at-arms, alert Captain Tila at once. Eternia's only hope is that somehow He-Man will get word.
Hurry!
By the power of Grayskull!
All right, it's award ceremony time, and I will begin. And I know you're going to do the same. I'm going to take a Havoc staff, and I don't really want to say shove it up his ass because he's a young kid, but yeah.
I'm just going to swat it over his fucking head. I'm just going to bash his brains in.
He definitely deserves some type of spanking with a Havoc staff.
Yeah. So we're both in agreement. Jeremy gets a friggin' Havoc staff.
Yes, I am also, though, on the other hand, going to give a Power Sword out to Evil Lynn. I like that she took charge. I like that she's, turning on Skeletor again. She sees a way to use the rock softener on Grayskull. She talks Triclops into it. She tricks Jeremy. So really, she's kind of on top of her game for a while in this episode. So I thought it was a good episode for Evil Lynn.
Yeah.
Anything else for you, or just the Havoc staff for Jeremy?
Just the Havoc staff for Jeremy. And that one point that you just said is saving this episode from what I was going to regrade it.
All right. Episode rating, sir.
1 Orko out of 5. It was originally going to get a 0 before you pointed out that Evelyn was damn good in this episode. But other than that, this episode is fucking useless. It's by far one of the worst episodes of the series.
And I will concur, and I will give this a 1.5 Battle Cat out of 5. 1.5. There were some parts that were all right with Triclops and with Ram Man and with Evil Lynn, but there was just too many plot areas that didn't make any freaking sense. So, 1.5 out of 5.
Jeremy, stop this crazy thing!
Yes. Let's run far away from Jeremy and the falling Castle Grayskull, and let's go on to see what kind of evil is returning in episode 44.
Aramis, from my the dimension, he's coming after me!
Evil? I've heard that name before.
Yes, me too. Tell us more, Orko.
Aramis is an electroid from my dimension.
An electroid?
That's a robot made of pure energy, isn't it?
That's right, Adam. Tell me, Orko, why is he after you?
I have a hunch your question is about to be answered, Father.
I am Aramis. I have come for the secret thing. And Orko, the icon, has it.
All right, it is time for episode 44, Return of Evil, written by Richard Pardee, his first episode written here for the series, and it aired Thursday, November 3rd, 1983. Aramesh, an electroid, arrives at the royal palace, capturing Orko and demanding a mysterious object from the Trollan, an object known to Orko as the Dimension Sphere. He-Man and Battle Cat confront the electroid, who disappears with Orko and arrives at Snake Mountain. Skeletor vows to help Aramesh obtain the Dimension Sphere in return for help in conquering Eternia. We have the regular masters for the bad guys, Evil Warriors. We have Skeletor, Evil Lynn, and Beastman. And our PSA is Tila talking about the value of fear. Thoughts on Aramesh and his return in an evil way here? Besides the fact that it's weird for something to return that we've never seen before.
Well, the title is pretty much basically something coming back from Orko's past is really what it means. It's not saying that that's the way I took it, because obviously this is an Orko-centric episode. It was all right. There are certain things that we'll get to later that just, yeah. Yeah. Oh boy, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you might want to turn your iPods or listening devices down when we get to Snake Mountain moments, because I'm going to be screaming my lungs out. Holy crap.
Let's not scream.
Yeah. The plot, it's all right. It's a good, it's a good story, like giving Orko something that is coming from his planet. It's and at the same time, Skeletor, taking advantage of it. I didn't quite like when He-Man basically didn't listen to the sorceress at the end, but I don't know. What about you? What are your thoughts on the overall plot?
I mean, I like the fact that it ties into something from Orko's past, and that we have this new character that we're learning about, and that there's almost like a partnership, so to speak, with him and Skeletor. There's just some weird stuff with this whole dimension sphere and some of that. I don't know if I necessarily have a problem with the plot as much as I have a problem with how it's going to be executed. I guess it could have been done in a good way. It just wasn't. So, I don't know. And the PSA was kind of a different one.
Yeah.
Kind of
very different.
I've had a few weird ones lately. As far as stuff that you wouldn't normally it's not like your prototypical stuff you just think of right off the top of your head that you're going to try to teach kids the value of fear. But I guess it works and it makes it a little more unique. Any thoughts on the PSA?
I think they should have worded it differently.
Yeah.
I don't know. Instead of saying, "Oh, there's value in fear,"
right?
Say something to the effect of, everyone gets. And I think Tila did say this a little bit, that everyone gets scared every now and then, and that's okay. And just when you do, go to. I don't know. I just think it could have been worded differently.
Yeah, that's probably true. Well, Castle Grayskull is back to normal since we've taken care of the rock softener, so I think it's actually safe to go there.
Hey, bright boy, put him down. They'll be all right. Just had the wind knocked out of them. Cringer. Well, I guess it's time for us to take over, old buddy. Let's move.
Oh, no. Here we go again.
It's time for Castle Grayskull moments for Return of Evil. I will go first because it's not going to take me very long. As I said, I like the partnership of evil here. I like Aramesh and Skeletor joining forces, and I like Aramesh overall. He's a cool-looking character. I liked his look. He reminds me of a character that showed up in Thundercats, I think it was, at one point. But, yeah, I like his look. I like his voice. I like what he does. I like that he's from Orko's past, and he seems to have some powers there. So I liked him as a character. Other than that, I don't really have anything that I really thought was great about this episode. How about you?
I agree with you. As a character, he looks really cool. It's something we haven't. I mean, we've seen robots before, but we haven't really seen this style of robot. Speaking of robot, and the reason why I'm saying it that way is because that's the way John Irwin pronounces it several times throughout the season or series as Adam. Instead of saying robot, they say robot. But what I love about it is I love Adam taking a stand as himself. Any time that and I said this last episode we talked about, and I said this in previous podcasts, I love it when they don't just rely on, oh, hey, Adam can't do shit, we gotta go get He-Man now. I love when Adam does take stands on stuff, and I thought that was great. Then Cringer, here we go again. Insert Whitesnake music. And yes, you people would have heard that right before this discussion. Hurry up, Skeletor, I'm hurrying.
That was funny.
That was funny. They trapped the Hinge people. That was kind of awesome. Go, Battle Cat, he tail tripped Skeletor.
Yeah.
That was kind of awesome. But even though I love those moments, those are good moments for this episode, it still doesn't save this episode from a lot of really, really bad moments.
All right, well, let's get into them then. And as we travel over to Snake Mountain, which these days is full of goodies.
Perhaps we should let this walking light bulb Aramesh do our dirty work for us.
What is your plan, Skeletor?
I shall bring this Aramesh here and make a deal with him.
So we can help him get the secret for himself?
No, you fuzzbrain. So we help him get the secret for me. It won't be long now.
So we have arrived at Snake Mountain. So let's get to business. There's nothing I hate more than foreshadowing with the Force. The whole Orko speech at the beginning about wanting to stop Skeletor.
Yeah.
That was painfully inserted and like, hey guys, this is what's going to happen in this episode. Orko is eventually going to stop Skeletor. Okay, I didn't need that. So I can't keep track of what this object is supposed to be. Is it the dome from the last episode? Is it the star seed? Is it the dimension sphere? How many times are we going to use this object?
You mean the little ball?
Yes. Because it pretty much has taken the same form and been like 5 different things now.
Yeah, well, I guess we could blame it on the stock animation.
And it's become so many things that they now refer to it just simply as the secret thing. Is that really the best name they could come up with? They could keep calling it the secret thing. I need the secret thing. Where is the secret thing? Like, that is the lamest thing I've ever heard. What kind of laugh just came out of Battle Cat, by the way, in this episode? That was odd, to say the least. So if you're listening to this episode, wait for a weird laugh to come out of Battle Cat. He-Man, I have no strength, but I will throw you anyways.
Yeah, he so did not listen to the Sorceress whatsoever.
But I mean, there was a time where he literally says that he has no strength, but he manages to throw whoever it was anyway. Like yeah, like that made no sense. If he has no strength, he has no strength. So like 2 episodes ago, we had the whole explanation that the Sorceress used and told us that she cannot become the Sorceress outside of Grayskull. Yet in this episode, Zora becomes the Sorceress outside of Grayskull. Way to be consistent and watch your previous episodes. Sir Orko the Knight? Are you freaking kidding me? No.
I do agree it's kind of wonky and kind of lame, but they give this character so much shit.
Give him a medal, give him a pat on the back, give him a freaking cake or something. Do not deem him a knight. And how does Skeletor get back?
Yeah, I'll get to...
Alright, I'll let you go then.
Oh my god. Alright, first thing, you already said it. This episode was damn good until the Sorceress in human form is in the fucking tar swamp. Give me a fucking break. Oh my god. So Skeletor is gone. No explanation is given whether he ever gets out of the other dimension. Really shitty writing in this episode. Instead of the long-ass fade away from the planet, they could have put a scene in there about Skeletor being trapped or somehow getting out of it or something. On top of that, Evelyn and Beastman are still imprisoned. The shitty writing.
And on top of that,
I can't take it.
We go into the next episode and it's just back to normal.
I know. And it's a different writer next episode, too.
Yeah, but no mention of how Skeletor eventually gets back or how Evelyn and Beastman get out of prison. It just happens. Yep. Accept it.
Yep, pretty much.
What else do you have?
That's it.
Okay.
I'll give a disclaimer right now. As much as I love my Castle Grayskull moments of Skeletor, hurry up, I'm hurrying, and the Cringer, here we go again in the Battle Cat tail trippings. As much as I love those 3 moments, that still does not help this episode's score whatsoever for the completely shitty writing this person has done.
I just don't appreciate when someone apparently watches none of the episodes beforehand, before they do their writing. And I know some of them are being written at the same time, so it's impossible. But you wouldn't have had to... there should be a series Bible... as there was for most cartoons, and if there was for this or wasn't, I'm not sure, but there should be somewhere.
Yes.
There should be note of the Sorceress and what powers she is capable of, and that she can't be, in human form outside of Grayskull. I don't understand why these writers can't keep that consistent. That's like a main part of the plot. That's like saying, I can't use a Transformers reference, but I have to. It's like saying, Autobots can't fly, and then every 5th episode, a writer lets Optimus Prime fly with Megatron.
Well, flying with Megatron is different. It would be different as if they, like...
No, I'm just saying if Optimus Prime was flying through the air to meet and battle Megatron, like, he can't fly. Like, Autobots can't fly. Like,
the Autobots can't fly thing only happened in... the fact that they could fly only happened in one episode, and then they retconned it to the point where, we can't fly unless we have jetpacks.
Right. I'm just saying it's something that seems like it's, like, specific, like... something that should not be missed over and over and over again, as we've seen in this series so far, and then just from episode to episode, we need to have... This guy basically wrote an episode, and at the time, they were, contracted out, or however you want to say it, to write, sometimes one episode. Some people were, to write multiple episodes, or they would come with, 3 or 4 episodes and hope that one of them got accepted, etc. I know there's a process there. But in that process, you should not write an episode that then leaves at the end a situation where stuff is not resolved.
Yeah.
Because it's not the same person writing all these episodes. If you're going to be writing continuously, then you can take care of it, and hey, I left Skeletor here and I left the bad guys in jail. I can fix that in my next episode. I will mention that. I will touch on that, etc. But when you're in the process where it's multiple people writing, and it's going to go from one writer to another writer with not a lot of knowledge of what each other has written, you should not leave your episode in a way that basically screws over whoever writes the next episode. Because they're not going to realize that you have left Skeletor out in a weird dimension and these guys in jail. Like, he basically screwed over whoever's episode was going to come next, because there was going to be a lack of continuity there.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, let's get to some awards and rankings for the return of Evil.
Orko, where are you?
I'll leave it to Cringer to find the hiding places.
All right, sir, it's award time. Do you have any power swords or havoc staffs to give out for the Return of Evil?
Havoc staff upside the head to the writer. This, like you were just saying, pay the fuck attention. I am going to give a power sword to Orko, not because I want to knight him, but because he did overcome his fears. I thought that was a good character moment for him, so he gets a power sword as well. What about you?
I did like Aramesh. I thought he was a cool character, but really nobody in this episode stood out one way or the other for me. This was just kind of a non-event episode for me, so I don't have anything to give out. As far as ratings go, how many Orkos are you giving this one?
0.
0.
Even though I like those 3 moments in my Castle Grayskull moments about Battlecat, Cringer, and Skeletor, the shitty writing. It's just like my brain nearly exploded when those 3 Snake Mountain moments happened. When I wrote those down, I almost turned this episode off. This almost 0.
All right. Well, I will be consistent today, and so far, and I'll also give this one a 1.5 Battlecats, just like I did the last episode, because they're both bad. Not the absolute worst 2 episodes I've ever seen, but they are bad. We can only go up from here, so let's get to episode 45.
I would have sent for you, but I could not. My powers grow weaker by the minute.
Man-at-Arms says that the oxygen content of Eternia's air is lowering. That's what's weakening all of us. Do you have any idea what might be causing it?
Perhaps. Did you notice anything strange on your journey here?
Yes, the evergreen forest is withering.
Ah, then I may have the answer. Deep in the heart of the Mystic Mountains lies the Sea of Eternity. It feeds a river which supplies the vine jungle and the evergreen forest with water. These 2 great forces, in turn, supply Eternia's air with oxygen.
Wait a minute, how do plants provide oxygen?
You know that all animals breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide.
Yes?
Well, all plants take in carbon dioxide and give off oxygen. That is why plants and animals need each other to survive. Someone or something must be cutting off the water supply to the forest at its source. at the Sea of Eternity. You, He-Man, must go and set things right.
Science!
All right, that means we are wrapping up today with episode 45, which is The Eye of the Beholder, written Friday. This is how we end our week, November 4th, 1983. It is written by Jeffrey O'Hare with the teleplay by David Wise. This is the first of 2 episodes for Jeffrey O'Hare. And the plot goes something like this. On Eternia, He-Man and Man-at-Arms begin to notice that everyone's strength, including their own, is weakening. Man-at-Arms concludes that there is a low level of oxygen in the air and that somehow Eternia's oxygen supply is being depleted. After speaking with the sorceress, He-Man heads to the Mystic Mountains in order to reach the Sea of Eternity. Just as he is about to pass through the mountains, he is attacked by a group of untrusting insect people. He-Man makes friends with Garth, and the 2 of them head toward the source of Eternia's problems. Masters, we have the Regulars and the Sorceress, and the Evil Warriors, we have Triclops, Beastman, and Skeletor. And PSA is all about beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What did you think about the oxygen-depleted Eternia, sir?
This will come into play during the Castle Grayskull Moments clip. Yay, science lesson! I seriously felt the whole time Sorceress was explaining it, I seriously felt like I was back in high school learning, or even middle school, learning about photosynthesis, and I seriously felt like I was back in school watching this episode.
Yeah, I do like the fact that they are discussing something that is causing the whole planet to be weak. I like the idea of He-Man losing his power, not being able to use it. I like the idea that it's not just affecting the people, but the plants and the machines and everything is somehow being affected. And I like the tie-ins with science and educational things that they're doing here with this episode. So plot-wise, I don't have a problem with that. I do think if a scientist that knew what they were talking about went over this episode with a fine-tooth comb, they would find some problems with it, though. They're definitely good on some of their science and bad on some of their other science. But overall, I like the idea of everything becoming weak and that they basically have to figure out what's happening and stop it before everyone's dead, which should have happened in this episode because it took a long time.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
But overall, I like the plot for this one. I don't have a problem.
I like the plot. It's interesting, and it's
unique. It's something we haven't seen before.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. That's always a good thing.
And it is a decent PSA about the whole beast story of the plot being that the insect people think that everyone else is ugly and everyone else thinks that insect people are ugly. So it's all about... I do think it was kind of weird, though, how Tila says it. She's like, there may be some beautiful people out there, and that's fine, but they may be ugly as far as the way they act. And then they're like, and you may know some ugly people.
Yeah.
Did you just say that?
It wasn't very well worded.
You may know some ugly people. Well, I don't think that's exactly what we should be saying to the kids, but okay.
Yeah, no.
So that was interesting. Let's head off to Grayskull and see what good stuff we have to say about this episode.
Brace yourself, Man-at-Arms. Man-at-Arms, drop the cable from the Wind Raider.
Here I go.
The Wind Raider feels like it weighs a ton. Then again, it does weigh a ton.
Yeah, that was quick thinking, He-Man, using the grappling cable to break our fall. Are you all right?
Maybe I'm a little out of shape. It took all my strength to catch the Wind Raider.
With your strength, it should have been easy.
I know. It doesn't make sense. And neither does the Wind Raider's engine stopping. What do you suppose caused it?
We'll have to get it back to the palace and pull it apart to find out. He-Man, that tree, it was perfectly healthy when we left this morning.
No, it's completely withered. It's falling toward the council chamber.
And the room is filled with people. Good work, He-Man. How's your strength holding up?
I feel weaker than ever.
Well, let's get the Wind Raider into the lab and see if anything's wrong with it.
I don't think you will find anything wrong with it. I think there's something very strange going on here. Whew, that thing's getting heavier and heavier. Maybe I should become Prince Adam again.
No. No, if something really is wrong, your powers may be needed.
Hey! Man-at-Arms, you got a cure for fizzled magic?
Well, I don't think there's any known cure for your magic, Orko.
No, I'm serious. I'm weak and I can't get anything to work. Look. Magic powers far and near. Make this beaker disappear. See what I mean? Took all my strength just to do that. Oh, phew. And that didn't even do anything. And it isn't just me. It seems to be happening to everyone in the palace.
Let's check out the Wind Raider.
All right, so highlights and Castle Grayskull moments for Eye of the Beholder. First of all, like I said, I like the idea of He-Man losing his power. That's always interesting to see how he's going to cope with that. And I like the educational value of a little bit of this episode as far as oxygen effects. We'll get to more on that later, but I do like the attempt here. And I thought the weakness was done really well from an animation standpoint, from a voicing standpoint. I thought it was believable, and it looked real the way that He-Man and some of the others were,
acting.
Were struggling, were, slowing, becoming less energized, stuff like that. I thought that was done well and believable. It could have been done much worse. And I feel like the Sorceress had an advantage here, because even though all of Eternia is weak, shouldn't the Sorceress be used to her powers being weak?
Oh, that's cruel.
Anyway, what do you got?
Oh my god, that's so wrong. Wow. Yay, a science lesson. Now, I actually, just to let people know how I go through the process, is behind the scenes moment time at Tales of Eternia. Usually, I watch the episode for a first time, and I go through and I clip the audio. As I'm going through clipping the audio, I also make my notes. During this first watch through, I was also in the middle of cooking dinner, and I had let it play while I was getting the pizza out of the oven, and as soon as I heard one of the Bugs' voices, not Garth, the other one.
Shaman?
Yeah. As soon as I heard his voice, I'm like, hey, wait, is that Buzz-Off? I didn't think Buzz-Off was appearing. Like, I got so excited. I'm like, ooh, Buzz-Off, yay. And then I rewound it on Netflix. I'm like, oh, that's not Buzz-Off. What the hell? But I did like the voice for that guy. I thought that was pretty cool. Other than that, I don't. I don't know. It's like there's just too many problems with this episode. There just really is. So
there is some problems. I don't know if there's as many problems as there was in some of the other episodes we just talked about.
Okay, I will say that
you brought up. Hold on, real quick. You brought up some. It wasn't Shaman, because the Shaman was done by Alan Oppenheimer, but this was one of the first times that we have seen another voice besides our regulars. The voice of Garth and the Insect Guard is George DeCenzo.
Oh, okay, cool.
The voice of Hordak.
Yeah.
So this is one of his early appearances in the franchise.
I will say, even though when we travel to Snake Mountain, I will have more bad points than I do good points, this episode overall, for me, is enjoyable. It's not because I'm not a big fan of Bugs. It's not one that I'll go back to on the regular, but this is more enjoyable for me in general, even though I'm going to nitpick the hell out of it. Mm-hmm. This is more enjoyable for me than the previous two episodes we've talked about today.
Yeah, definitely. But alas, there are still some Snake Mountain moments.
Yes, there are.
Who is this strange intruder?
How ugly he looks! He has no shell! Disgusting! We thought he might have something to do with the disaster that threatens our hive.
What disaster are you referring to?
Our race hatches new eggs only once every 50 years, and it is time for the new brood to be born. But our eggs do not glow as they should. It's as though all of the life has been drained out of them. If they do not hatch, our race is doomed.
Come, strange sorcerer, out with it! What manner of spell have you cast on us?
I'm no sorcerer. My name is He-Man. I'm on a journey to stop this danger which threatens your hive and the whole planet.
Lies! The ugly one seeks to deceive us.
My people are suffering as you are.
And why should we believe the word of someone as hideous as you?
No, Shaman. Let us not judge this one by his strange looks. No doubt we look strange to him. I am Garth. What do you intend to do?
I must find the Sea of Eternity. I believe someone is draining it and taking away the planet's oxygen in the process. I intend to stop whoever is doing this.
I believe you. I will help you.
No, Garth!
Shaman, it's our only hope.
All right, Snake Mountain moments for Eye of the Beholder. First of all, right from the opening, there was a horrible animation sequence with the vehicle there and Prince Adam becoming He-Man and then doing the grappling hook and then catching it. That just looked totally fake to me.
Yeah.
I just didn't like how that was done. I've never noticed this before, but how did the trees in the Royal Palace grow when there's no dirt underneath them? There's literally...
That's
I don't know what that material is. It's not cement, but it's whatever, they're marble or whatever, but it's a solid floor, and then the trees sit on top of it.
Yeah, that's weird.
I feel like before they went to Grayskull, like if this was a film set, that someone said, hold on, we're missing something, and then someone just ran up with a map and 2 pieces of tape and stuck it on the wall and ran off the scene, and then they're like, action! What the heck was that map doing on Grayskull's wall? The sorceress was like, I know they're coming, so I will hang this map because I will reference it later. What?
Yeah.
That's just so out of place.
Yeah.
We should get a picture of that map hanging on Grayskull.
I'm not God. If you want to, you can. I've already got all the pictures I need for this episode, but there is room.
That looks so off.
Yeah.
Okay. How did the evil warriors and Skeletor get hold of Man-at-Arms oxygen canisters? I just thought it was weird that it's like this invention that Man-at-Arms has been working on for underwater, blah, 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 and he just happens to have it, and he's like, oh, here, I have one. This is the only one I have. You can use it, He-Man. Well, Skeletor's got like 5 of them.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
I know it makes sense that Skeletor should be prepared since he's the one that's going to, be taking all the oxygen away, but they basically look like the same canisters. So He-Man only needs a hit of oxygen like once every hour, it seems like. Once every so often. Yeah. And when he goes without his oxygen, he can struggle. He can walk himself to Castle Grayskull and then walk himself back to the Royal Palace with no oxygen. Or when he loses it at the lake there, he can still climb the ladder and do all this other stuff, which is fine because he's doing it slowly and he's weak and whatnot. As soon as the Evil Warriors canisters are gone, even if they just took a hit, they pass out.
They're done. Yeah, they
pass the fuck out.
It's so inconsistent.
So the oxygen wore off way too fast on the Evil Warriors.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I am not too sure about the science in this whole episode. I get some of it. I get some of it. I do. I think it's a stretch that the Wind Raider is affected.
Oh, yeah. Come on, yeah.
I get the trees are going... Well, they're not going to wither that damn fast. But I get that it's going to affect plant life. And I get that it's going to affect humans.
Yeah.
Not wholesale buying the machinery thing and the vehicles. Except that they needed a way to get the vehicles out of there so that He-Man would be forced to walk everywhere. All right. Second here.
Yes.
Okay, I get that the lake is dammed up. Or the river. Whatever.
Yeah.
Dammed up, it's being pumped out. Skeletor's got this plan. There's no water going to the forest. It means there's no plant life on Eternia, which means there's no oxygen, etc. All right. There's oxygen and water. And the whole last phase of this episode takes place at the lake.
Right.
Shouldn't there be enough oxygen at that point? There should be plant life around there because there's water there. There's plenty of water because that's where the lake is. That's where the lake is being dammed up. Yet, everyone still needs their oxygen canisters?
Mm.
I mean, I'm not a science genius. That's not my subject. But I would think once they were at the actual source of the lake, that everyone would be able to breathe fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that it says that all the plant life is dying and withering, but I'm sure there is, wherever there's water, there's going to be life. Some sort. Whether it's seaweed or plants or grass around the lake or something that has not withered. So I just didn't buy the fact that they needed the oxygen at that point. Because it's far from Eternia. I just think there's hokey science going on here. I don't know. I need a scientist to come pick away and...
TV's Mr. Neil, if you're listening, comment.
There's got to be some other things that we're missing that are inconsistent here. But bad use of science, even though it's a good use of science in some other ways. What do you think here?
Wait a second. They couldn't use the grappling hook without He-Man? Even without power? Like, the whole thing with the wind, like, the vehicles are not living beings, you fucking morons. They're not. They're fucking technology.
Whatever power source they're on is not... No, none of our power sources are affected by oxygen or not. I mean, if you...
Yeah, that was hokey to me.
Gasoline in the thing, you have gasoline in the thing, it's going to have power until you have no gas. If it's a form of energy, you're going to have it until that energy source wears out. Oxygen not being in the air is not going to affect that.
Yeah, not at all. And what pissed me off so much is, so they're going to check out the Wind Raider before looking at other people's issues. Boo. That makes no sense whatsoever. So,
I didn't mention this, but everybody on Eternia and everyone throughout the planet should have been dead.
Yes. So, Kevin, the Eternians are apparently human beings and not aliens. I thought that they were aliens because, Eternia ain't Earth. Like, I understand why they write it that way, to make it relatable to us as the audience and to kids as the audience, of saying, hey, you're a human being, He-Man's a human, I get that, but still, that's bad writing.
Do you know what else I didn't understand?
What?
I just thought of now. They never really explain why the insect men are not affected by the lack of oxygen.
Yeah, that's true, too.
Like, insects and animals and everything around here would be just as affected if there's no oxygen.
Yep.
But why are these insect men immune to it? They should have touched on that at some point.
Yeah, they should have.
I mentioned this in Castle Grayskull moment, but that was a cool fucking form that Garth guy turned into.
Yeah, the butterfly thing. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's nice. I don't buy the whole evolution thing though.
No, yeah.
Going to ultimately evolve into if we swim in magic water. What?
Well, I think what it is that they were trying to go for, in order to save himself, and it's not said in this, but I think what they were ultimately going for was, because he had to save himself, he very quickly spun a cocoon, curled up, and came out smelling like a rose.
I just don't buy that. That's.
I don't buy it either, but
I don't know.
Yeah. And again, I was gonna have an issue with He-Man being strong and the henchmen losing their strength, and then I realized that he had an oxycan. I didn't see it at first, but I think he grabbed Beastman's, or he grabbed somebody's after they were down.
But the other fact that he just kept destroying them instead of using them himself.
I know.
This is only oxygen. You should probably stop smashing them.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, Man-at-Arms made a point that when this canister is gone, there's no more oxygen. Okay, well then if I come across any extra canisters, I'm probably going to protect those too. Let's be safe here just in case.
Oh my god. Yeah. I don't know.
Is that all you have?
Yep.
All right, let's go on to awards and rankings and all kinds of good stuff for Eye of the Beholder.
Strange how those two thought I was a monster, when they themselves look so strange to me.
It just goes to show you shouldn't be fooled by appearances. After all, your friend Shaman thought I was pretty ugly.
All right, it's award ceremony time for Eye of the Beholder, and I do have one to give out here. I like the way that he did things. I like the way he was animated. I like the way that his speech patterns went when he was weak, and I like the fact that he overcame everything, so I will give a power sword to He-Man. I thought he was well done in this episode.
I can agree to that, but at the same time, like, that's how He-Man is supposed to be for me. Like, if something happens to him, he is supposed to be able to act the way, a normal person would act in that situation. So no one really stood out to me in this episode at all, so okay. I'm not going to give any out.
And for ranking-wise, I gave the first episode today a 1.5. I gave the second episode today a 1.5. I will give the Eye of the Beholder a 2.5.
And I'm just going to give it a straight 2. I originally had it down as a 3, but as we've talked it out, all the problems with the oxygen and the wonky science, it knocked it down a point for me. So 2 out of 5 Orcos.
All right, so that does it for the 3 episodes for today. We will take a quick break and be back with our overall thoughts, etc.
Well, Orko, Jeremy sure changed his ways.
Yeah, he was acting pretty rotten for a while. I think all he really wanted was for people to notice him. But what good does it do to be noticed if people don't like what they see?
That's right. The best way to get attention is not to look for it. By being polite and helpful, people will not only notice you, they'll like you too.
I'm going to do something helpful right now.
What's that?
I'm going to say goodbye!
Tooncast is dedicated to the cartoons we grew up with. 100 episodes and more make up one of the GCRN's most popular podcasts. Join host TFG1Mike, OptimusSolo, Terror the Rising Star, and tons of guest hosts. We also have voice actor and writer interviews. Tune in to Tooncast as we look back on the cartoons that defined us as geeks. You can find Tooncast on iTunes and the web at www.geekcastradio.com. Tune in.
Like animation? Come listen to Animation Aficionados.
And if you disagree with us, you could be a guest on a future show.
Available on iTunes, the Zune Market, and animationaficionados.com.
Today, Orko was being chased by an evil robot. Orko was very frightened, but in the end, he overcame his fear and helped He-Man defeat the robot. All of us are frightened at one time or another, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. Fear is natural. It makes us aware of possible danger. Without fear, we'd wind up in all kinds of trouble. So never feel guilty because you're afraid. Listen to your fears. They'll help you stay out of trouble. Until later. Bye now.
So let's say you're looking for a podcast of your favorite 80s comic books, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Ninja Turtles, He-Man, etc. Where are you going to go to find us?
Welcome to Star Joe's Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan.
And I'm Chuck. That's right, everybody. We're the Star Joes. We host a podcast called Star Joe's Podcast, where we talk about your favorite comic books, your favorite toys of all the 80s properties.
Star Wars, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Mask, Thundercats, Voltron, you name it, we cover it. If it's in the 80s, we'll cover it at some point.
Yeah, so what you want to do to find us, you can go to iTunes, you can go to www.starjoes.com.
And remember, the Force will be with you.
Because knowing us is half the battle.
Coming to Grand Rapids, Michigan on September 21st and 22nd is GrandCon Gaming and Comics Convention, presented by Celebration Cinemas. Join us in playing or chatting it up with fellow enthusiasts in a community that understands your passions. Get lost in the adventure of your favorite role-playing game. Admire costumes and art from vendors and attendees. Meet the creators behind your favorite mainstream and independent games and comic books. Check out unpublished games and sneak peek at things to come. You can get all this and more at GrandCon. For more information, please visit www.grand-con.com.
Today we met Garth, who to some people looked like a monster. But But Garth wasn't a monster. He was a good person with a noble soul. And in the end, his beauty showed through. Real beauty comes from inside, which is why ugly people can sometimes be the most beautiful people to know, and why people who look beautiful sometimes act very ugly. Being beautiful on the outside is all right, but being beautiful on the inside, that's the best.
All right, we're back here to close out the show. We're not going to beat a dead horse here too much here on the overall thoughts of the series. The overall thoughts on this set of episodes is they're terrible. Quite possibly the worst episode we've had so far as a combination of 3 episodes that we are discussing. None of them even reaching a 3 rating for either of us. So it needs to get better quickly.
It needs to get so much better and very fast because, last episode of the podcast, in episode 14, we were praising them. We were saying, oh my god, so much character development for Sorceress. And then, of course, it just fucking goes out the window this episode.
Yeah, it needs to get better. This cannot continue. All right. Thank you for listening to Tales of Eternia. If you'd like to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show, there are several ways to do so. Visit the website, www.geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on all of our varied podcasting posts. You can also join the forums at geekcastradio.com. You'll see a little thing on the right-hand side there that will take you to the forums. We have ongoing discussions on a lot of different topics. So join the forums, start discussions, get in on current discussions. There's also a place on the website for you to vote on our next topic for our GCRN Wars tournament. So there's a lot of stuff to do at the website, so go visit it, take a look, and search around and find all the cool stuff. Send an email to feedback@geekcastradio.com. You can leave the show feedback in iTunes. Please do so. We do appreciate as many 5-star reviews or whatever you want to rate us as possible.
I do want to mention something really quickly. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I do want to mention something really quickly about the iTunes thing. I looked at it the other day. We currently have no new reviews, but we have. Let me just look here really quick. We have over 6 star ratings. That basically it puts us where Tales of Eternia is a 5-star podcast on iTunes, pretty much, is what it means, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice.
I'm looking at it right now. We have 6 5-star ratings and no star ratings other than 5-star ratings, so basically we are a 5-star podcast based on 6 ratings, and we still have the same 3 reviews, which we have read on air in previous episodes. But yeah, thank you so much. As Kevin said, go over to iTunes. We love this franchise as much as Count Marzo is like, you Transformers fanboys, fuck you. We still love He-Man just like everybody else does. So
you can also follow us on Twitter, Geekcast Radio. What's your Twitter name?
TFG1Mike.
Mine's OptimusSolo, and you can become a fan on Facebook as well. So do all of that stuff and keep in touch with all things Geekcast Radio related. You can also call the voicemail line, tell us the show you're leaving the message, and your name. The number is 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed the tales today, and don't forget to join us on our next adventure when we will be discussing episodes 46, 47, and 48, which are It's Not My Fault. That one worries me. Trouble in Arcadia, which I don't know what to expect on that one. And Castle of Heroes, which I have high hopes for. That's a cool name for an episode. I know nothing about it, but it sounds good. All right. For now, I'm OptimusSolo with
TFG1Mike.
And remember throughout the week that by the power of Grayskull, we all have the power.
That's it, He-Man. Kneel before your new master.